Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Today, two IRS whistleblowers did their best to expose an obviously corrupted government to the American people. Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler are two of the best at the IRS. Neither are politically motivated. In fact, Ziegler is a Democrat. And in our current political landscape, whistleblowers like these two men are about the only thing protecting the people of this country from a government that's grown totally out of control. With the bulk of the media now controlled by the machine, without whistleblowers, our government has no real checks, able to fulfill its most insidious desires for control and for power. Today, Joseph Ziegler was almost emotional when he described how hard it's been for him to do the right thing in this moment. This man has been attacked as a traitor to the Democrat Party, he says. The Biden-aligned media will now hunt him for sure. His left-wing colleagues at work hate him, all for exposing the DOJ's efforts to install Joe Biden as president and protect him from his deeply corrupted past, which in turn meant protecting Joe Biden's son Hunter from his gratuitous financial crimes, because Hunter's crimes were pointing IRS agents directly at his father. Listen to Joseph Ziegler describe the plight of the modern American whistleblower.
It's essentially like being left out on an island, and I don't know if that's done purposefully, but I essentially made disclosures up to the commissioner of the IRS. I said what happened, and the response I got a few days later was, I may have broken the law, and don't ever do this again. Your emails need to go through your leadership. So to have that come to me was chilling. It was, I can't even put words to it. The vast majority of it has just, it's the impact on the person. It's awful.
The machine is not used to people like Joseph Ziegler. It takes someone exceptionally brave to go through this. The most pitiful claim we're hearing right now is that these men, both these whistleblowers, are misguided or perhaps lying. You don't go through this kind of scrutiny and hell unless you are 100% sure that you have a story that must be told. And this certainly is a story that must be told. Much of today centered around Hunter Biden and the millions that he hid from the IRS, including the DOJ's intentional obstruction of an investigation that would have led to very serious charges for Hunter and very damning allegations against his father, the man who really earned all of that money that Hunter Biden was hiding from the IRS. Here were some of the moments when the real story, what we all really should be paying attention to, surfaced at today's hearing.
The Bidens created over 20 shell companies, most of which were created when Joe Biden was vice president. Bank records so far show the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals and related companies.
On his tax return, he deducted a hotel room for his dad, so Joe Biden.
To be a valid business deduction, it would have to be some type of business activity being conducted at that time.
10 held by H for the big guy, and from what I understand, that to be his dad, President Biden.
That's the reality of the situation right now. Pounding that information into voters' heads is critical. Biden's corruption was hidden from us in 2020. It will not be in 2024. Even the most lazy, uninformed voter will know that Joe Biden sold out his country for money by next November. And that's exactly the point. For Democrats today, it was quite a rough one because it's very hard to beat up on a well-spoken, well-respected career federal employee gay Democrat when you're in the Democrat Party. The best the Dems could muster were these moments. Jamie Raskin with the same tired talking point that Gal Luft has been indicted himself, ignoring the fact that Luft and Joe Biden were being paid by the exact same Chinese communist agent. Whoops. And then you had Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy trying to claim that Biden wasn't president when this alleged obstruction began, something that made no sense to anybody in the room because the allegation here is that all of this was done to install Joe Biden as president, to get rid of Donald Trump. And then finally, you had Congresswoman Shontel Brown humiliating herself by trying to make this about race which was probably the best part. Watch these goons embarrass themselves in a desperate attempt to protect their corrupted leader.
The majority's long-promised star witness turns out to be a fugitive from American justice.
Again, Joe Biden was not the president in April 2020, was he?
So I'm confused by your line of questioning. We're talking about an election to which now President Biden was a part of. So he didn't have to be the president to have election meddling.
No, but the question is this. Was he the president at that time in April 2020?
Or, Mr. Chairman, what if we talked about the other unspoken two-tier justice system in this country, the one where people of color are subject to a deliberately harsher system at every turn?
Doing what they always do when they're cornered, just scream racism. Usually works. It's honestly rather sad, if you think about it, that this country is so tribal that the other side can't admit to the atrocities that they've committed against our country and our Constitution since Donald Trump drove them truly insane. And really, that's the whole story, right? Trump's election was so threatening to the establishment, to establishment Washington, that they pushed all sorts of panic buttons and levers that were labeled emergency use only. They've sunk to levels we've never seen before in the name of stopping Trump. And the DOJ's despicable actions over the last several years are all a part of that. Trump is continually hunted for any reason they can possibly muster. His nemesis, their hero, able to abscond from even the most traitorous allegations. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene made the biggest splash at today's IRS whistleblower hearing. Greene highlighted Hunter Biden's sexual escapades with prostitutes, and she brought pictures, claiming violations of the Mann Act and his attempt to claim his membership, and we're talking about Hunter Biden's attempt to claim his membership at a sex club as a tax deduction. Watch some of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Talking about Hunter Biden using his company, Owasco PC, to pay prostitutes. This is also a suspicious activity report showing that victim one, the woman that was paid for prostitution, that traveled from California to Washington, D.C., paid for by Hunter Biden. This is an excerpt from a SARS report that we've read in the Treasury, and I think you all have looked at these too, showing that victim one was supposedly an employee of Owasco. But I would like to point out, this is not really what most paralegals do.